introduce our panel, which includes singer, songwriter and storyteller Ajak Kwai, multilingual poet and humanitarian innovator and collaborator Baqir Khan, and Nirma Murugamoorthy from Tamil Feast. The discussion will be moderated by Beth McCaan. Please make them feel welcome.
Okay, so we're here today to talk about refugee voices and the importance of the voices of people seeking asylum and refugees in the refugee discourse. As we can see from the film, everybody has a different experience and a different way to express that experience through film, food, music and a range of different mediums. So I wanted each of the panellists just to start by talking a little bit about the projects that they work on in the community. They're all working on quite interesting projects, and how those projects give people a voice within the community and help them express their own experience as well. Baqir, we might start with you.
My name is Baqir. I work at the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre. So I guess I work at the Innovation Hub where a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, Gavin Ackley, and I co-developed what we call a type of program innovation, which is humanitarian symbiotic innovation. The idea being that of giving not just people seeking asylum and refugees, but any community or people experiencing disadvantage the ability to self-determine and to be able to have a voice, to be able to express themselves, but most importantly to have ownership of the way they want to present themselves to the world and the way they want to be viewed. Thank you.
I'm a young performer, singer, but also I do work in my community for a long time, about 10 years, and I'm doing a lot of work with women and children and through music as well, and also just work. And so I've been doing that for a long time. And it's mainly actually an expert on the street.
We are seeking asylum for several years. And we released from the center last year. We have created Tamil Feast because, like we call the people seeking asylum in Australia, the Tamil Feast main thing is to say about our stories, what the situation, it is a situation to reach everyone with a hope, because mostly people, they like different culture of hope, so different stories. I think it's a good opportunity for us.
How many people usually come to the Tamil Feast? So the Tamil Feast runs down at series, and it's run by a lot of volunteers who cook and share stories. And about how many people come to the dinners?
Average 55 to 60, because we don't have much space.
Yep.
So maximum 60-65. And also we have many volunteers.
Yep.
Mostly volunteers like from Australian community.
Yep.
Because they are good friends. They were before like to come to Tamil Feast. Then they hear our story, our voice. Then now finally they are also very helpful for us to make friends and for everything. That's it.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to check it out, delicious food, I've heard. I need to go along myself. I think another thing that was interesting that was brought up in the films was the communication through music. So I think music has been an important way for a lot of people to express their own experience. So Ajak, I'd like to go to you. You were telling me before about how you have made lots of friends in your own community through music and through expressing yourself in your languages, so in your community languages. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Music is very interesting, or art in particular. It's very interesting because you don't need to understand the language, but actually sometimes you just go with it. And I think that was a good thing for me to be able to communicate when I first came to Australia and make a lot of friends. Because when I came to Tasmania, I didn't know anyone. I came by myself. It was about 18 years ago, almost. And I didn't know where to start. And actually there were not many African people in Tasmania. And I was the only person in that area. I was very far away from from the city. And soon I managed. Through singing, I found a lot of people. I connect with a lot of people in the community, in my own community as well. And because we were a little bit, people assume when you come from one place, you're just one people. But actually we came from very different. Some came from the camp in Uganda, and some from Kenya, but I came through Egypt. So I didn't know anyone. In a few members of the community were in Harvard. So that was really a good thing that I went to take, and I started singing because I used to sing in Africa since I was young in a choir. So I met a lot of people in the whole community, know me in the local level. And to be able to, and I made a connection with a wider, not only African people, but with people in Tasmania. I find my way and I connected with people, and people is very important in where I come from, because I never live alone in my entire life, and that was the challenge. So I break all this world through music. So the music is so important in so many ways, not only music but art as well. So it connected me with a lot of people around Australia, and it's not only my community. One example was not long ago I was singing in a community health, a community center in Flemington. And there were a lot of Muslim women there. They came and they sing. People assume that Muslim people don't sing. They all came because I sang it in a song that they knew. So we forget about our differences back home, and they all came and we sing and we had a great time. So that is the power of music as art genre as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Baqir, you're also involved in a music group down at the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre. So I guess you see the importance of music in that as well, and a lot of the beautiful performers that we had here earlier today. In what other ways is the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre creating a voice for people, for some of the members, besides the music program? What are some of the other things that you're doing as part of this symbiotic innovation model?
Well, just to clarify, I'm just the amateur bassist who takes a lot. Fun. I guess to build on what Jack said earlier, for me, the way I see it personally is, and this is the activist and advocate name coming out now. First of all, if we can, sort of just right now have a call to action that we stop using the term asylum seeker, because it puts people in a box. It's very essentializing language, and I've talked about this for a long time, and I'll keep talking about it until we all stop using the term asylum seeker, because it puts people in the box, and that's all we know. And we just know them as a victim, and that's it. Whereas, and Jack would have experienced, and our own colourful, very beautiful music group, we see each other as musicians, artists, and musicians and artists are actually people, and they have favourite colours and types of food, and they appreciate other types of music, so it's very humanising. Going to symbiotic innovation, so the idea being that the people who are currently experiencing disadvantage, especially people seeking asylum that we work with, the idea is that first to recognise that all people have a history, where they come from. So sort of an approach that is sort of similar in some ways to narrative therapy, where we look to these people having a past, having a very rich history, having a lot of skills, qualifications, a lot of great life experience that is very valuable to this country, to the society, and this country was built by both people. So realizing that they're actually a valuable resource, but also the fact that they have agency, that they can mobilize themselves, that they don't need to be saved by us. And in reality, we just need to get out of their way and kind of work together side by side. So realizing that they have that potential and then trying to utilize that, trying to work with that. So what we've done is that the people who come to the centre, they are involved with us. They are equal partners who work with us to create solutions, to develop programs, to develop services as equal partners, and not just the development of it, but also in terms of the implementation. So at the moment, we've got almost 100 volunteers who come to the centre. They're all people seeking asylum. We've got 5 staff members who are actually from refugee backgrounds themselves. Some of them actually currently seeking asylum right now. So that process has sort of happened organically over sort of the last year and a half. But now that we've realized the potential and also learned from it, it's quite focused now. So what we're seeing is that people, and first of all, when they're going through a process that is so complicated, so sophisticated and complex, and the rules and law, the legislation changes pretty much every single day, we're realizing that empowerment is actually about honesty and telling people when we're working with them what the process is and how they can be involved, rather than holding all that information, because that just turns us into a power structure. So making sure that there is a lot more openness and viewing it as an equal partnership rather than it just being a top-down approach of an agency doing things to people, and instead taking the approach of working with people.
Yeah. So if you'd like to thank the panelists with me, that would be